micfri is the cockadoodle rooster. I am the rooster. So reading, not a big fan. And I'm talking about books. You know, I know reading is kind of necessary for like reading instruction manuals and like stuff on the internet. But like books, I mean, come on. I mean, really? Okay, here's the thing. There's supposed to be these things called non-fiction books, right? And they're supposed to be true or whatever like that. But if you look at them, there's been like thousands or millions of books written, and like 99% of them have outdated or false information, right? So you have a very small number of them that actually have useful information. And out of those 1%, 99% of that stuff is all redundant, because if you look at a book and they say, oh, this one's factual because it cites this and this and this book, and then what kind of sense does that make? You have to reference another book in order for your book to be true? That's just crazy time, you know what I'm saying? Here's a little factoid for you. If you spent your entire life reading, when you're not eating, sleeping, or shitting, all your free time just reading, you could only read 10,000 books. And what are the chances that those 10,000 books are going to have anything valuable or useful in it? It's not very likely. So you're probably going to just read stuff for fun, which I call is just basically mental masturbation, you know what I mean? Because like reading, you know, language and all this stuff, it's really an inefficient way to communicate if you think about it. Because look, the person has to think of a thought, right? Then they have to translate that into verbal speech in their head. Then they have to make that into words, which are made up of these little symbols, you know, and then add grammar, and then put it on a page, and then you have to read that stuff, translate it back into verbal language so that you can finally understand it in your head. It's like playing telephone. You don't know what you got. What they were thinking could be something totally different. It's all lost in translation, most of it. So what you see in the books, what really prevails is like stories and crap. And it doesn't even have to make sense. It could be complete gibberish like Shakespeare. And people just think, oh, it's old-timey, and they're just making up the story in their head. You don't know what's really going on. They could say they thy knave in the scave and whatever, and he was talking about riding a bicycle, and he could be thinking, oh, he just killed a wild boar or something. People don't know. They're just making this shit up. And then they all agree on, oh, that's probably the story. Yeah, that sounds the best. It's stupid. I'm not making this shit up. There's people who are like literary, you know, aficionados, and this is what they do all day. They sit around and discuss it with each other and figure out with each other, oh, what did you think that means? And then they agree on some like ultimate, you know, story that it's probably this. This sounds really nice. I mean, it's all fucking snooty, highbrow bullshit. Like, nobody wants to even fucking deal with that stuff anymore. I say we get rid of it all. You know, books are totally irrelevant to 99.99% of the population until they make a movie about it. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Okay, let me give you a little background as to how I came to these ultimate conclusions. Okay, I didn't learn to read until I was in the 4th grade. And even then, it was very low on my list of necessary skills to survive in this world. But I was forced to by the man in public school and society, you know, and I'm glad I learned how that skill. But you know what? We should ditch the whole practice of these long tomes that take hours and days to get through just to transfer little bits of information. I mean, it's all just so ridiculous. We should just burn them all. I know this is not the prevailing point of view on this subject, but it's my point of view. And if you don't like it, fuck you. Go read a book, you bookworm. Cock-a-doodle.